Hey everybody, welcome to the late horror show. We are live. What's going on, Ted?
The only horror show that's not talking about Halloween tonight.
Yeah. Oh man, are we doing a way off, right? Jesus Christ,
We're never going to talk about it.
No, we're going old school.
We're not even going to see it.
Old school, old school.
That's right.
But yeah, Ray Harryhausen movie tag, or just Ray Harryhausen tag. There you go, man. This guy.
A book the library just happened to lose.
Yeah, and don't. Hey, we've got a lot of interesting questions and answers, and we are going to talk the hell out of stop motion and Harryhausen. And yeah, this guy, man. This guy is the king of stop motion.
He's the guy that inspired everyone from way back.
Yeah. And imagine having the parents that help you along because they see that you're so into what you're doing, not even knowing if this is going to go anywhere. I mean, his father gave him the garage, and he started tinkering after seeing King Kong. You know what I mean?
That's where it started.
That's where it all started. King Kong. The stop motion.
The only other people I can think like that is the Kyoto brothers. Their folks bought them the cameras and let them do it because they knew they just loved to do it, and it kept them out of trouble. They were making their movies, so and it's
that's
awesome what you got to do, man. Your kids are passionate about something like that.
Yes,
throw it in there.
And his mother actually made costumes and sets and things. So they actually helped him on his journey to becoming what he became.
Right. He ended up
yikes,
becoming friends with Willis O'Brien, who did the effects for Kong.
Yeah.
And kind of like apprenticing under him a bit. Then the war happened. He did some stop motion animation kind of stuff for the war effort.
And before we go real quick, because we're going to dive deep in some of these questions and all that. Welcome again to the Late Horror Show. I'm Dino. That's Ted. If you're on iTunes listening to this, come back and watch us on YouTube. Go to iTunes. You can subscribe and listen to us at night. But anyways, this is a tag video. I'm not sure because of the format we do, where it's long, if these tags are really, should I call them a tag video? Because they technically are. And
other people could do it too.
No, that you can. The questions are down there. If you feel like doing the Ray Harryhausen tag, which is, if you love old school horror and you like stop motion, Tim Burton. If Nightmare Before Christmas is your thing, and those kind of,
this is where it all came from.
This is where it all came from, and
this just sucks for everybody because this is something that I just love so much. Like
hell yeah,
the old monsters, Hammer movies, and Ray Harryhausen movies. This is.
I know you talk about Sinbad all the frickin' time. no, which is good, which we'll get into. But and I wanted to thank. We had a fan who actually got a hold of me through my page and wanted us to do Ray Harryhausen. And
you have to twist my arm.
So I'm not going to say his full name, but Jonathan, thank you. And this one's for you.
And can I also say that these are some of the best questions. I don't think I could have come up with these good questions. So I'm glad you did it.
Jonathan,
they were very thoughtful.
Hell yeah.
And
shows that he loves this.
Just
too,
worded so well.
Right.
And I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm stoked.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm going to flap my gums all night.
Flap your gums.
Oh.
And we're coming from the creature capital of the world and the dinosaur capital of the world.
Are we?
No.
Oh, yes,
I have no idea.
We're the dinosaur capital of the world.
We're the dinosaur capital of the world. Man, look at that chat just filling up.
Look at it blowing up with those 4 people.
Anyways, I know there's
That's all right.
I know there's some other live streams.
The problem is that this show's talking about Halloween.
No. Anyways, this is going to be cool. We do got 15 questions. Jerks production. Hey, Dino, what's up, Jerks?
15 questions.
Hey, Jerks, nice to see you in the chat.
Yeah, this is the more fun show.
But we got 15 awesome questions. The setup is a little bit different too. I don't know if you noticed. It's not as bright. I went back to the old camera.
Yeah.
Because man, the glare driving me nuts. And it's the more expensive camera. So go, who knows? But anyways, let's get to this, man. And another cool thing I'll throw out right. It is awesome that Ray Harryhausen and Ray Bradbury became friends at the early age of like 18, somewhere around there, and stayed lifelong friends forever. And they made a pact when they were 18. They said, "How about this? How about we always stay 18 and always be a child, and always play with dinosaurs. Right. And they kept that going through the rest of their career and the rest of their life. And another thing, imagine Ray Harryhausen. Okay, imagine practicing your talents and your gift for like half of your career. Like say, take 20 years of practicing and then 20 years of making films. Yeah. That's pretty much what he did, because the time and effort, which we'll talk about.
And he was a hermit. He didn't work with a crew. He worked by himself.
Goddamn, Bell.
Clicked his board. I mean, he had his little studio. He lived most of his life in England.
Yes.
And he did it all himself.
Wait, who's this here? This is Dark Horse Dumpling. Hey, how's it going, guys? I appreciate the deep dive of information. Some people only want to talk about obvious horror staples. Keep up the good work.
Not on this show.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
That is what we do. And nothing against everybody who loves horror. They like whatever they like. But we love to dive into the old school stuff and a lot of this interesting stuff.
No one does
Ray Harryhausen.
No one does our movies.
No, well, you know what? You need to get your own niche. You know what I mean? You can't do the same.
Groove, man.
So
we got our groove.
So we got our groove. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, we're going to dive into some 15 questions that Jonathan. Thank you again.
Yes.
And these are awesome questions. They're going to start out basic, and then they're going to start getting into really thinking about the man himself and the process behind stop motion animation. And oh my God.
And what the hell? You can if you can find a copy of this book.
Yeah, so it's got a library thing on there.
Well, that's because this is a beautiful hardcover, which is out of print. You can get the soft cover.
Yeah.
But this book, The Art of Ray Harryhausen, with an introduction by Peter Jackson, because he was pimping King Kong at the time.
Pimping.
Is full of
Verno,
information.
What's going on, Verno?
Every single film that he worked on, unrealized projects.
Yes.
I know you can't see it from here, but Dino can see
it.
Oh,
yeah.
His sketches,
wait till we talk about a movie that it's one of the questions.
The models. You know,
he was
the frameworks.
He was very good artist too.
Oh yeah.
Once he started getting into this, I mean, he didn't start out, and they told him, "How about starting to write down some pictures of what you're talking about?" And man, God, the dude's talented, man. But
everything about all his films, The Art of Ray Harryhausen, it is worth.
You guys get the box set?
I
think it came with the Cyclops. No, I didn't get it, but that would be awfully darn cool.
Yeah, I have all his films on Blu-ray, but I didn't get the box set thing that they had. I wasn't into Blu-ray at that time. But I have them all now.
Cool. So. Okay, well let's get right into this.
Yeah,
and
my answers
let's hit question number 1. Like I said, the first 2 are going to be basic. Okay, what is your favorite Ray Harryhausen film?
It's like trying to pick your favorite child.
You know what? Okay, to start it off, it's difficult because, like, he's going to like, I know already, different than me, and I'm going to like different than him because we sway 2 different directions here. But yeah, you can take his full, except for the first movie I think you ever did. But anyways, you know, and they're all great films. Some a little bit better than that. But my movie is going to be H.G. Wells' First Men in the Moon.
First Men in the Moon is fantastic.
1964.
Oh, it's so good.
And do I need to wear glasses to read what I?
We're getting old.
You know, I should have taken a black marker and wrote these down.
I texted him a picture a couple of weeks ago of me getting fitted for bifocals, and I'm wearing the shirt from our show.
Yes,
which is why I sent it.
No, but the First Men in the Moon, man. I mean, come on.
Good.
You know, getting in the rocket ship, the way they built that up.
What a weird story for getting to the moon. That material that defies gravity.
Defies gravity and goes
shoots them to the moon.
Shoots straight to the moon. And when they get to the moon, there's those creatures in the moon because they get in the tunnel.
The Selenites.
Oh, and they're ant people.
They're fantastic. My favorite part, and I remember watching
love that movie, man.
Watching it with my dad, and we both cracked up.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't one of the ones I saw early on. I saw that later.
Cody Ray, what's up, guy? What's up?
Oh,
talking old school stop motion, man. Ray Harryhausen.
Yeah, jump in.
There you go.
When the astronauts land on the moon.
Got any questions? Throw it our way.
And they find the flag.
Yeah.
And what's this doing here? That's great.
Everything about that movie I love.
Absolutely imperial.
The way he talks and everything. I think I got down here. God dang it! I can't see the actors' names, but I'm going to have to see it. Let me get my glasses over here because either way, I'm going to have to read one of these answers I put down in my light pencil. If you can see that. What an idiot! What the frick did I do that for? God dang it! Okay, so what's your favorite movie? Let me guess. Oh, no, go ahead.
No, don't. I'm going to pick the one that was the culmination of everything, which was Clash of the Titans. I've probably seen it the most times. And I'm not just picking it because it's a popular movie.
No, I was thinking either Seven Voyages of Sinbad or Clash of Titans.
Okay. But why do I like Clash of the Titans? All right, I even wrote it down. It's a culmination. It's got some of his best work in it. It's barely 5 minutes goes by without some kind of cool thing in it. You've got Pegasus, you've got Medusa, Calibos, you got the Scorpions, you got.
Oh, you guys can't hear too well. I'm sorry, guys. Just crank up the volume.
Sorry,
I'll have to check on that after the show. I can't mess with it now. But anyways, I'll fix it.
It's got everything.
Turn up the volume.
It's got some humor. It's got a romance story. It's got thrills. It's got monsters.
Felix, what's up? Raiders AK.
As far as I know, it's a story that hadn't been told before. Mm-hmm. We never had we've had movies with Roman soldiers and stuff like that, but we never had this story told. Plus, you had, the introduction of the gods, and you actually felt like you got to know them a little bit.
Right.
And their jealousies and feelings towards each other.
Oh, he really dives into mythology.
Right. And on top of it all, you had the Kraken. And to think that there was supposed to be a sequel to that movie.
Yeah.
Later on, dealing with the Battle of Troy and stuff like that. There was going to be a sequel.
Yeah.
But we didn't get that.
No.
So I'll probably say that out of all of them, it's probably my favorite just because it's, it's everything he ever wanted to do, kind of. He always wanted to do that kind of a story. What does
Raiders AK Felix says, what is the airspeed of an Aladdin swallow? What does he mean by that? Aladdin? Swallow?
Laden swallow.
A laden
swallow. It's from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, son of a bitch. Okay, Felix. Ted got it. I didn't. Sorry about that. There you go. Okay, cool. Clash of the Titans. I kind of figured you would go that direction.
And I even used to have toys of it, too. Really? I had Pegasus. I had Perseus.
Son of a bitch. Where are they now?
The Riverman. Remember when they crossed the river Styx? Mm-hmm. And the guy looks like the Grim Reaper, the skeleton guy.
Oh,
he has to give him the coin. Oh, yeah. Oh, and the girl that played Andromeda.
Yeah, we'll talk about a hot chick a little later. Raquel Welch. Yeah.
Raquel.
Okay, so what is your question number 2? What is your least favorite Ray Harryhausen film? I can't believe I got to put my glasses on for this.
That's like picking your least favorite kid.
Mine is going to be The Strange World of oh god dang it, what's wrong? Planet X 1958.
What?
Huh? The Strange World of Planet X, 1958. It's when he ventured off into his sci-fi stuff. The UFO.
That ain't a Ray Harryhausen
Yes,
movie.
it is. Yes, it is.
I'm going to pull up his movie.
Pull it up then. Pull up the IMDb.
Talk about that movie.
Okay, well, I'm just saying.
That's not a movie.
Yes, that's not a movie.
That's not.
Okay.
I'm looking.
See if I'm wrong.
I'm going to see if you're wrong.
I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong.
See, we're going to look at filmography.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, anyways, I'll talk about this really quick, and if I'm wrong, I'll
short film. Maybe it's a short film.
I don't know what I'll do, but I just thought I'm pretty sure because he dove into the.
What's the name of that movie again?
The Strange World of Planet X. Yeah, type it in there. Come on, Ray Harryhausen. Come on. Okay, right on spot, guys. I'm not wrong. Come on.
Here it is.
Yeah, please, come on. It's Ray Harryhausen. Special effects.
We'll see about it.
You and the IMDb. But anyways, because even though I love the old space sci-fi movies of the time, this one, which I've seen, I did see it. If he tells me it's not Ray Harryhausen, then well.
I'm not seeing his name in here so far.
I saw it on special effects. He had something to do with it. But anyways, we'll go to you then. Go ahead.
This is too good.
No, I'm gonna find it, man. When we're done with the show, I'm finding it. But you go ahead. Just stop it. Go to your questions. Go to your answers.
I'm sorry.
Go to your answers. Son of a bitch. Greatest stop motion this side of King Kong.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, heck yeah.
Hey, there you go. King Kong's got to come first.
Yeah, there's Felix.
But I picked Earth versus the Flying Saucers.
Son of a bitch. Oh, sci-fi, space, right?
Well, number one, it doesn't really... Well, I mean, the UFOs look cool. But it doesn't really have any creature effects in it. You got the flying saucers.
Well, right.
It does have some iconic images that, like, Mars Attacks borrowed. You know, with the saucer crashing into the Washington Monument in Mars Attacks, like, you know, it knocked it over, but then it started trying to knock it over onto the people.
Yeah.
And
that's another thing he did. Always destruction of, like, something, you know, important, like a political building or the Capitol, something like that. The Colosseum in Rome, you know, stuff.
And then otherwise, apart from the effects, it's a pretty dull movie. I mean, I have it on Blu-ray.
I'm freaking wrong. I can't think.
It's a lot of that sci-fi techno-babble kind of stuff. It's typical 50s
techno-babble,
nuclear age.
Yeah.
You know, there's the husband with his pipe and his wife is his little secretary. And I mean, oh, for God's sake.
No, I
you know, and you know, there's always those military guys involved, the general, and you know, and
right,
sharing information freely with the scientists.
The acting in that movie was not the best.
It's typical 50s,
right,
sci-fi stock.
But I liked a lot of those movies, but this one,
right. I knew you liked that.
Yeah, I can see why that's probably one of your.
It's not one of my favorites, but yet I still like it, and I'll still always own it.
Okay.
From videotape on up. I've always owned it. So,
moving on up to the top. Question number 3. What was the first Harryhausen film you saw? How old were you? And can you remember the impression it made on you? Mm-hmm. Yes, it's not my favorite, although it's up there. Like I said, I love all the Ray Harryhausen movies except the one that he didn't do, evidently, with Planet X. The movie Mighty Joe Young, 1949. That was the earliest one I recall ever seeing. Probably around 7 or 8, somewhere around there. And it was on our local Superhost.
That's right.
You know, your
WUAB TV 43.
Your TV host, who we've
channel that sucks now.
I know, really. Yeah. What is it? It's
I don't know. It's like church stuff.
Yeah, whatever. But
let us praise God.
But yeah, we grew up on Superhost and the horror host that would play the shows on Saturday mornings and stuff like that. And that's the first place I've seen it, just like King Kong. We brought it up many times. And the impression it left on me was just, first of all, Superhost gave it to me, man. The old black and white films and stuff. So, you know, the old school movies and the stop motion. First of all, King Kong grabbed me. I mean, then you get Son of Kong, and then you get Mighty Joe.
All three of them on Thanksgiving.
Yes, and then you get Mighty Joe Young, and Mighty Joe Young was a very good movie, and I like how
fantastic.
I love how sympathetic you are towards King Kong because he don't mean any harm.
No, he is what he is.
The people, which is depicted in most of Ray Harryhausen's characters, they're depicted as, you know, gentle kind of, and then they're prodded and poked from us as human beings.
Oh, yeah, Joe was pretty gentle until you pissed him off. Even Kong, I mean, with Ann Darrow, there was no chance in hell he'd ever hurt her. You know, there was no chance.
Oh, no.
You know, he died to protect her.
Yep.
But now I thought
Cody Ray. Sorry.
Oh, no, please.
The 30s is my fave. Says Cody Ray when it comes to black and white horror. Yeah, I agree with you. Pre-code. I mean, I do love the 40s.
Did you watch the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde that we were?
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Yes.
Because we were gonna touch on that this week.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll have time, but if we'll do it next week, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But the 1931, 32 version of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with Fred March is fantastic. If you've never seen it, it's not universal.
The angles they take, it's not
universal. It's a little weird.
The angles they take on but that's what made
the transition effects are so good.
Oh yeah, transition.
Like I refuse to watch anything or read anything about how they did it because it looks that good.
Right, yeah.
It just literally happens before your eyes. And it's fantastic.
Okay. No, I love it. So yeah.
Now I would have picked Mighty Joe Young because it was always on Thanksgiving.
Right.
But I had to watch Kong, and I would not eat before Kong was over. And so I never really got to watch Mighty Joe Young. I honestly probably never saw Mighty Joe Young until much later.
Really?
So, because I had to eat.
You had to eat.
But I had to watch Kong. I don't know what time it came on. Maybe 1 o'clock or noon or whatever, or whatever time the football game.
Hey, Felix, you can hear us all right, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to sit up close here and talk a little louder. So I never really got the chance to see that as a little kid. But one that I do remember seeing, I never saw any of them in the theater, even like as re-screenings or whatever.
Right.
One that I remember seeing, and I didn't remember what it was until later. I'll tell the story here.
Well, yeah, because Raiders AK Felix says, as a kid, I cried when I watched Mighty Joe Young. Yes. Okay, he says yes, the volume's fine.
Absolutely.
Probably a little low, just turned
I remember Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger when it premiered on TV, maybe one of those Sunday night movies. Or whatever. I remember watching it. I think my mom was with me. I remember watching on TV. And, that movie came out the same year as Star Wars, so it didn't get the best reviews. And on lists of Ray Harryhausen's better movies, it's never at the top.
Right.
But I love it. It's probably my favorite out of all 3 of the Sinbad movies. Okay. Because I just love the creatures.
Wait, Eye of the Tiger?
Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger.
Really? Okay.
I love the troglodyte. There's a saber-toothed tiger. There's a minotaur. All kinds of cool effects. And it's got Jane Seymour in it when she was an absolute vision.
Yeah.
And you get a little side boob shot, so that's never a bad thing.
She was fit. She was fit, man.
Man, absolutely.
Even when she got older, Jane Seymour
she's always been tight.
She's a hot 60-year-old.
Mm-hmm. You and your old ladies.
Go ahead.
But I just enthralled with the effects, because that stuff always got me.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that later. Another question, why?
Right.
But the part of that movie that I always remembered and stuck with me was there's a part when there's a character named Zenobia. She's the witch, or she's the antagonist.
Right.
And she turns herself into a seagull to sort of spy on Sinbad's ship. And when she flies back, something happens with the potion. There's not enough to turn her back. So her foot still looks like a duck's foot.
Right.
And I remember her walking around with this duck foot.
Yeah.
And for years, I remembered that part of a movie, but I didn't know what movie it was.
Right, yeah.
And then when, how did I write it here? And then when I started collecting movies, and that would have been when like VHS tapes started becoming more affordable. There were stores like Suncoast and Saturday Matinee at the malls. And I would, I started collecting movies. And I bought all the Ray Harryhausen movies. Because at a really young age, I knew who Ray Harryhausen was from reading like Starlog magazine.
Yeah.
Most people don't know or didn't know who he was. I knew who the hell he was. But for some reason, I just didn't know that was the movie that had that part in it.
Okay.
So when I bought all the Sinbad movies, I bought like a box set of tapes with all the Sinbad movies. And I watched that and I'm like, oh, that's the movie that,
Okay.
It was a Harryhausen movie. I didn't know that. Because then I saw that part again.
Huh.
So that's probably my first exposure that I can remember.
Odd. It's the stream shows that we're offline.
Oh, no.
But you guys are seeing us, right? We're live? We are live, right? This is so odd. See? Here, look it. We're live on the Late Horror Show. But it says offline, but whatever. Anyways, okay, so on to question number 4.
Mm-hmm.
You are live. Yeah, what the
there you go.
YouTube is acting really weird lately, man. I have no idea what's going on.
It's the other shows. They're sabotaging us.
Yeah, what's going on?
They're stealing our numbers.
You are live. Yes, you are. They're all say. Okay.
All right.
So question number 4 then. Let's move on. What is your favorite Harryhausen mythological fantasy creature? Literally there are so many. But I am definitely going to pick the one that stood out in my mind over the years, and I really do think is one of the coolest, is Medusa from Clash of the Titans. I think
she's never been realized on film like that.
Oh no, yeah, and in that way, that serpent-like effect, and it's just
And just think, he animated that himself. Since we have the same answer,
what did he say?
You realize you have to move each and every one of those snakes. A little bit back, forth, whichever.
Took him a day to get 3 seconds of footage, I think he said.
And that sequence goes on for...
Who the hell does that?
More than 5 minutes.
But, yeah.
That was the love. I'd say, like, if I had to pick a close second, it would be the Hydra from Jason and the Argonauts.
Waggy Films. Hey, buddy. Welcome to the stream. Awesome. The Late Late Horror Show. He says Talos.
Oh, that's, if I'm not mistaken, that's the big guy from Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, isn't it?
Yeah.
The big statue guy?
Yeah.
Is that who we're talking about?
Who's all metal?
Yes. I can't always remember all the names, even though I love these movies.
Right. Well, he had so many characters and so many...
Right. But yeah, the Hydra, just with all the heads moving when he's trying to get the golden fleece.
I used to have... I might even somewhere have the figure of that, and it should be right in the front there, but oh well, it's not. But yeah, okay, since we both had the same answer, there we go. Yeah. We'll move on to question number 5.
Is so great. And that's one of the reasons why it's my favorite part of the movie.
I would never look at her.
I mean, my kids, when I would show that to my kids, they love that part. I mean, it's just so cool. Because, they were like, what is that? How is that movie?
Release the Kraken.
The Kraken?
That's what Felix said.
The Kraken.
Release the Kraken. Okay, so question number 5. What is your favorite sci-fi monster from a Harryhausen film?
Okay, so now we have to go with the sci-fi
Go with
movies.
the sci-fi.
How'd you pick?
I put the Emer, 20 Million Miles to Earth, 1959.
20 Million Miles is fantastic, which I always thought was kind of like reused in Clash of the Titans as the Kraken, because they do really kind of resemble each other a bit.
Right, they do, yeah. But, yeah, just...
good, he's a great creature.
I mean...
He's got some great scenes in that movie. You feel a little bad for him. I love when he's running, running around Rome or whatever, on the Colosseum.
Right. And another sympathetic creature who comes and lands on Earth.
Then he whooped the shit out of an elephant too, I think. I think there's a stop motion elephant in there.
When you're doing stop motion, the more beating the shit out of other stuff you can do, the better it makes the film. Waggy Film says Emer is great. The thing I love about his character too is, and Ray Harryhausen talked about this a little bit, is how his character, the creature itself, was born very not aggressive, not mean, not nothing, but like in the barn scene, like he had a dog attack him.
Yes.
He had the pitchfork thrown in his back by the guy in the barn.
I'm just born and people are trying to kill me.
Yeah, so he begins to run everywhere, and he found out that eating sulfur, of all things, was his food of choice,
and what we throw away
would create. And he became a giant, just like anything. And I think Ray Harryhausen said, why make something small when you can make them very imposing and large? So it's like, awesome. I agree 100%. But yeah, there you go.
All right. I picked the Selenites from your favorite, First Men in the Moon. I love the little ant creatures. I'd love to think that on the moon that there's little creatures living underneath the surface, which I think there could possibly be something there. Might explain why we don't go there anymore.
We'll talk about that in another
That's another show, right? There's more going on.
What is in the moon?
And I know when you watch movies, some of them are guys in costumes, but they're just so cool and how they communicate. Like, what is it, like telepathically?
Right.
Or through that orb thing.
Yeah, how the special effects they used for that. Everything about that film was great.
It's so bizarre.
Characters were good. A little bizarre. Victorian era,
I think it's his only one where he did in the big wide scope.
Yeah. Which you needed because you see them very small in the moon with the creatures like down in little parts and corners and stuff like that. Yeah. So I think he took a lot of the effects from like even King Kong, where they would use the like black screens to get the effect of putting people in there, similar to the green screen effect that we use now.
Yeah, that's what they did in Kong, and sometimes like with the caves, and it was several layers of effects.
Several. It was several.
There were
several of them. Oh yeah. So you. I
did. I picked this.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
did you?
I answered my question.
Oh, you did? Oh, I see what's going on. Let's see. Dark Horse Dumpling. What modern stop-motion film would you like to see remade with Harryhausen animation? We will get to that question.
That's actually one of the questions.
That's one of the questions a little later on. We'll get to that, definitely. So moving on to question number 6. What is your favorite Harryhausen dinosaur? Again,
I have one.
Pick your favorite dinosaur, but specifically dinosaur, right? I mean, not a creature or anything, an offshoot. I'm going to go with...
I know which one I picked, and I picked it for a silly reason, but it's...
I'm going to pick the T-Rex because, I mean, the way... First of all, that was the first, I think, dinosaur that he started messing around
with. Which movie are you talking about?
Oh, not... They were in various movies. Wherever he used the T-Rex...
I picked the T-Rex from Valley of Guanji.
That was the best one.
Yeah. And the reason I like it...
I didn't throw that in there, but if I'm choosing my favorite... And the Triceratops... Yeah, the Triceratops looked awesome too. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to go with the T-Rex for sure. So
Yes, I picked the T-Rex from Valley of Guanji. And this is just typical...
Hey, Sean Urshan, what's going on? Hey. Ray Harryhausen, man. Stop motion.
And this was typical of what Ray would do. I mean, there's lots of stop motion movies, but not everybody put personality in their characters. And there's a part in Valley of Guanji when, you know, the cowboys are, you know, in the valley. And there's the T-Rex in the background. And he just stops and goes... He just scratches his nose.
Well, that's what was big with Ray Harryhausen.
You know, just little details.
He specifically, and you can do this with stop motion, put character into that creature that,
there was no reason for him to do it. But it was just a cool... You watch, he's like, oh, he's scratching his nose.
And there were reasons behind every little thing he did for the creature.
And that movie's effect... And forgive me, if it's an Allosaurus or T-Rex, I can't recall, but that type of dinosaur.
Eric, what's up? The Death
Twitch. I was wondering where he was at. And when the cowboys are trying to lasso...
Sadly, you can't hear us? Oh, I'm so sorry. Is the volume all the way up? Anyways,
when all the cowboys are
gotta fix the mic
them,
next time. Yeah.
And it's flawless.
Yeah.
When they've all got their. I mean, this thing is stop motion. All the cowboys are on there lassoing.
Like 5 different lassos from 5 different directions.
Pulling this way, that way, and everything is just fluid and perfect.
Right.
And I do know how they did that, but it's amazing how he got it just perfect.
Right.
And he did it just by himself.
Yeah. No, he would work.
But it's that nose scratch.
He would sleep where he was doing this work at, and nothing had to change, because if the lighting was off, the effects, you could notice a difference. So because it would take days and days and days to put little tiny scenes together.
Nobody over his shoulder telling him what to do, man. Just it's like, okay, here it is. I delivered it.
Yep, that's what's awesome about that, man.
You knew what you were getting.
Ray Harryhausen. The T-Rex from Caveman is the best T-Rex ever. Says Felix.
Are you talking about Caveman with Ringo Starr and Shelley Long?
Shelley Long. I love that movie. That was a good movie.
That movie.
It's cheesy, but it's a good one.
I remember it a little. I remember watching it the day before I started 5th grade.
Watch it again.
It's on, I think, Tubi TV to watch for free, but it's on my list. I just haven't watched it.
Okay, so let's move on to question number 7. They start getting harder.
Harder?
I mean, they're kind of easy for what I'm saying.
Not from me.
Number 7, as amazing as the creatures may be, let's not forget our humans.
See, this is a great question.
Who would you say are your favorite human characters in a Harryhausen film? Okay.
Several.
There are several, and again, I'm going to... I'll just throw out a mention here, Raquel Welch, in 1 million years BC, 1966. But
every caveman movie, it's always the word you hear.
Need to put
Akita.
But I got to put my glasses on to see this because I'm blind, so I'm wearing glasses. My other one, because I love the other ones that stand out to me as great actors, because I love the movie so much, and they really stood out, especially First Men in the Moon. Mm-hmm. Lionel Jeffries as Professor Caver.
Absolutely imperial.
And yes, he's the one that is very energetic and
the inventor.
Yes, the inventor.
What's the name of that material that he created? I can't remember.
Oh, I can't remember either. Yeah. But he ran around like a maniac, just trying to back and forth. Let's go to the moon.
It's absolutely imperial.
And Edward Judd, who played Arnold Bedford in the same movie.
Yes.
And those are my favorite actors, because those stand out to me because it's a movie I've seen many times, over and over. Some of the other movies that are excellent, like Clash of the Titans, Sinbad movies and stuff like that, I don't think any of their characters played them as great as those two did.
Blasphemy.
But anyways, go ahead. You.
Oh, and by the way, First Man in the Moon is available to watch on Amazon Prime if you have it. So watch that movie.
There you go.
Did you
Beth, know that? What is up, Beth S? Boom.
I picked Kerwin Matthews.
Nice for you stopping by.
Who played Sinbad in Seventh Voyage of
Sinbad. Really?
And he also played Gulliver in The Three Worlds of Gulliver.
Yes.
And he was also an actor I liked. It's not a Harryhausen movie, but it is a stop-motion fantasy movie.
Right.
Jack the Giant Killer, that also came out on Blu-ray not too long ago.
Yes.
The stop-motion in that film isn't as great, but it's still a damn cool movie.
Right.
And he plays, he's just a stiff, heroic character, and I dig him in all those movies.
Cool. No,
he's not animated really or anything like that. He's just, I don't know. He's just that
somebody you like in the movie.
Hero kind of character.
Yeah, he's like, nothing outstanding in my eyes, so he's your favorite. But
that's right.
I picked someone with character.
You did.
Character. Anyways, okay, so let's move to question number 8.
I have no problem with your choices.
No, okay. If you could take any film, old or new, and have Ray Harryhausen perform the special effects on it, which film? Which film would you choose? Okay, so that's I'm like, what the hell? That's the answer.
That's the question.
That's question number 8, right?
Yeah.
I would pick the 1976 version of King Kong. Why, you may ask?
Because that version sucked.
Because that version sucked.
Had no creatures in it.
No creatures in it, and the way they did the King Kong was blasphemy.
How stupid.
Should I say that?
Dewan.
I would have loved him to get in there and put some character into Kong, not the big eyeballs closing like this,
Yeah, there's people out there who love that movie, man.
I know. But again, if you can take Ray Harryhausen, who was the biggest fan of the original King Kong, did Mighty Joe Young, I think he would have done spectacularly in that film, just creating a character. Because that Kong...
He probably cried. He probably never even watched it.
Worst Kong, even though I haven't seen the new King Kong movie and don't want to.
What's that, the 2005 Peter Jackson one?
Whichever.
Yeah.
See,
the thing in that movie is he's more of a gorilla, not really a creature. He acts
and
exactly
that's what
like
a
gorilla.
That's what I don't like about it, yeah. Boom! Anyways.
I'm cheating.
Uh-oh.
I'm picking 4 movies.
4 movies? 4 movies? Wait, hold on. Lord of the Rings trilogy would be neat with stop motion. Holy shit. That's Waggy Films. Without a doubt, if
that had been cool.
I would have loved
if they had made that in the 70s or something instead of that animated one, which I don't think is horrible.
And veering off just really quickly, Ray Harryhausen did do a lot of the fairy tale stuff early on.
Oh yeah, his puppet tunes. You can watch those on Amazon as well.
Yes, which I can be reminiscent of The Hobbit, kind of the Lord of the Rings, because it's that fairy tale.
I just like to watch them just to watch them.
But
I don't watch them and go, oh, this is great.
But great choice. I mean, if they really could, if he give him free,
But I will say that the Lord of the Rings trilogy still holds up pretty well.
I give it
much more than the Hobbit trilogy because it didn't rely exclusively on CGI. There was a lot of model work. Yeah. It's real sets, real locations, so it's got a textural feel to it, and that's why it'll always be head and shoulders over that Hobbit trilogy, which is just a big damn cartoon.
Dave Plouffe is in the chat. Thanks for showing up, Dave. I know he's also another one that likes the old school movies and stuff like that.
But the movies that I picked,
4.
There was a director named Kevin Connor.
Okay.
In the 70s, he did 4 movies with Doug McClure. Okay, and which ones I'm going to pick.
Yeah.
He did The Land Before Time. Yeah. I'm sorry, not The Land Before Time, the cartoon. The Land That Time Forgot.
He did. That's cartoon.
3 of them were Edgar Rice Burroughs movies. Land That Time Forgot, The People That Time Forgot, At the Earth's Core, and a great one called Warlords of Atlantis. And out of all of those,
Edgar Rice Burroughs.
He's my favorite writer.
Yeah.
Out of all of those, The Land That Time Forgot is my favorite. And those movies use a mixture of either just model dinosaurs to people in costumes acting like dinosaurs. Okay, and the effects aren't that great, but the story is so damn good that I forgive the effects. Or the Mayhars.
Well, good for you.
The Mayhars in At the Earth's Core.
Yeah.
Which also has Peter Cushing in it. It's a great movie if you haven't seen it. And
no. Yeah. That's another
Warlords of Atlantis, he had wanted to do was to actually make Princess of Mars, which is what John Carter was. But they couldn't get
I know, Dave. I'm sorry.
They couldn't get the rights to that. So they made a film called Warlords of Atlantis, which is actually as close to a John Carter movie as you got in the 70s.
Right.
And I think Doug McClure would have been a great John Carter. He actually fit the bill more than this guy we got in the Disney version.
Yeah.
But if he could have had some kind of effects like Ray Harryhausen effects in those movies, I think they would be classics of the 70s. Just cause,
really? Okay.
Yes, I think it would have elevated those films to a much higher status than just these movies that I love that no one else has ever heard of.
No. So, gotcha. No,
and he even did another movie. It's called Arabian Adventure. It's not even available in this country on DVD. I had to buy it in England. It's got Christopher.
We are all aware.
It's got Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, Mickey Rooney, and it's like it's got flying carpets. At the end of it, there's a flying carpet battle.
No, yeah.
And I don't know if we've ever gotten a chance to see it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's got this girl. She used to be in soap operas. Emma Samms.
Oh yeah. I know who you're talking about.
I'd love to like lick the sweat off her belly.
Oh jeez. Okay, let's not get us going. Yeah.
But
wait, what?
If those films could have had some cool stop motion effects, I think they would be remembered.
Yeah. And again, you guys, I'm sorry about the audio.
You can hear us though, can't you? Can't you just turn your volumes up a little?
They can hear us. You have to. It depends what device you're on, and putting it all the way up to the fullest thing. I know
Turn it up to 11.
I know what the problem is. I have to unplug the microphone and put it in a different USB slot. My fault. Should have known that. Should have done it. But I know because this has happened in the past, and it's just low. You just got to turn the volume all the way up. That's all.
Well, what'd you say was a little more grainy the other way? It was louder but grainier.
Louder but grainier.
This is
but that's
softer
all right.
but clearer.
Yeah, but I know what they're talking about. And I do apologize, guys. Dark Horse Dumpling. That's right. We're low. Anyways, okay, so...
low.
We're low.
That's low.
Question number 9?
Are we on 9?
Are we on 9? Yeah, we just did 8, so 9.
9.
Within a man... Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yep, okay.
With... Question number 9. With an imagination as great as Ray Harryhausen's, there were many films that he hoped to make, but for one reason or another never came to fruition. Which unrealized Harryhausen project would you most like to see?
And this book,
without a doubt,
has got a bunch of them in there. So
yeah,
lots of sketches, preliminary sketches. Look at the cover, dude. Even the cover of the book.
Yeah.
You know, just
skeleton it's his artwork.
Stairway.
It's his artwork. That's beautiful.
It's bitchin'.
I can hear you just fine. Ted's voice is just a little sultry. Sultry, says Beth.
Sultry.
Woo! Look at that.
You got some,
Cody
hot
Ray,
buttered soul.
Cody Ray had to switch to his TV since my laptop.
We're on your TV.
Is loud enough. So cool. Yeah, you put us on the Roku.
On the Roku, we should have our own app.
Well, hey, you go to YouTube app on Roku, you can see us on the big screen, 4K. You know. But anyways, mine is going to be War of the Worlds.
Son of a bitch, that's mine too.
He was
dying to make.
He was dying to make War of the Worlds, and he did test footage for the movie itself, and the test footage shows a very cool looking creature coming out of the hatch, like kind of out of a UFO, you know. But his take on it was going to be very sympathetic, and the creature was going to end up with getting like an illness and end up, you know, slowly dying.
Right.
But the test footage, it's out there. If you go look for it, Ray Harryhausen test footage, War of the Worlds. Man, I would have loved to have seen his take on that movie.
That'd have been a fantastic.
Even though the original is still a great take.
It's a cool movie.
If you throw Ray Harryhausen in there and give him his, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, what he could have done. But
I picked that for all the same reasons. I also said any Sinbad movie. Because there was supposed to be more Adventures of Sinbad. And that Troy movie, which was, I forgot what it was going to be called.
Cody Ray.
But it would have been the sequel to Clash of the Titans.
Right.
Which would have been, you know, a really, you know, epic, man, if we could have had 2 of those movies.
No, that would have been cool, man. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so we agreed on that. War of the Worlds. Yeah.
Now let's see where we are on the next question.
Okay.
I love this. This was probably one of my favorite questions. So
really? Okay.
This one a lot.
Question number 10.
Because I wouldn't have thought of doing this one.
Right, yeah. Harryhausen invited audience to many strange and fantastical places. But if you had your choice, would you travel to the mysterious island or be one of the first men in the moon? And that is a cool question. I don't even have to look at this. Okay, so here's my thing. As much as I love the movie First Men in the Moon, I much rather would have been in Mysterious Island. Just for the plain fact of it's an island. You've got sun. You've got tons of creatures. There's oxygen. Whereas First Men on the Moon, you're in the moon. It's dark, dank. You only got the ants.
You've only got the ants.
Oh, I needed water, man. I'm choking.
I know I had a Coke and I'm all finished with it.
The moon for sure. Oh, really? They're saying moon, Beth, and Waggy Films. But anyways, mine would be Mysterious Island. I know there were a lot more ways of dying in Mysterious Island, but at least you had a fighting chance, and you could eventually get off the island, maybe, and back to civilization.
You picked the same thing, and for almost the exact same reasons. I said, if I was on the moon, I'd love to go to the moon.
Right, no, me too.
The Selenites ended up being warlike.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, that's a drag.
Yeah.
And
if they were nice and they brought me into a room and said, look at this magical world that we got here.
It's the moon. I mean, it's
dark and dank.
It's not even, a 7-Eleven or anything.
7-Eleven.
There's not a Coke machine.
There's not a Burger King around.
But at least, Mysterious Island, apart from being on a beautiful island and being, free and relaxed.
Right.
There would be all sorts of adventures with giant creatures, crabs, and
figure out ways of killing
some weird chicken,
and
bees. I mean, remember the
what was the name of that weird turkey chicken?
I don't know what the hell its name was, but
it was. He came up with that thing. That was most of the other thing were enlarged and
living up in that cave way up high
with the bee. The famous scene with the bee,
yes,
where he waxed them in the honeycomb. Where actually he reversed that and started from it being full and breaking it down, and it was a cool effect.
But as long as my time on the island doesn't end the same way that it did in the movie where the volcano explodes and it's like I gotta hightail it off this island because it's gonna
let me get out of here.
So I mean, you could build a raft. Maybe some hot chicks would wash up on the shore.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. It's just
some hot
chicks. The possibilities on the Mysterious Island are... Or even if I got to ride on a hot air balloon to get there. I mean, and that is just it's one of my all-time favorite movies. And I've got to read the book. I've got the book, and I've got to read it sometime.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, wow. The imagination, the fun of that movie.
Yeah.
And Captain Nemo at the end.
Captain Nemo, man. Heck yeah. Rubber dinosaurs in the future landfill. The Quiet Horror Show. Yeah, the volume I needed to put the USB drive for the microphone in the other USB, but very sorry. If you do put it all the way up, you'll be able to hear the show. I do apologize, though. Again, I keep apologizing. But Rubber Dinosaur, sorry, man. Just turn the volume all the way up.
Turn it to 11.
From now on, I'll remember that because this is the second time, and I'll fix it, and it won't happen again. But anyways,
we promise.
I promise. So there you go. So question number 11. So question number 11. Harryhausen has taken the character of Sinbad on many exciting journeys. Which is your favorite Sinbad adventure?
I think they should make a Sinbad movie and actually use Sinbad in it as the character. The actor, Sinbad, the comedian.
I know, I was going to say. Is that where you were going with that? I'm going to say The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, 1958. Says. I know.
But it's a great movie.
Love the Cyclops character. I mean, it's just a great movie.
Everything in it.
Yeah, I mean, again, you could probably pick any of the
skeletons,
Sinbad movies, but yeah, the skeletons I love.
That alone is fantastic.
Come on, skull. There you go.
But I picked, like I said,
I picked my bunghole.
The least popular out of all of them, Sinbad in the Eye of the Tiger. Just because it's got a few different locations. It's got, Middle Eastern ports. It's got, ocean voyage, of course. Then, they're on...
Bring them into the grease
They go up to the frozen north, practically, with walruses.
Right. And, they're all over the place.
There's great stop-motion effects.
Voyages.
The baboon, which you could watch and almost swear to God it's a real baboon. Saber-tooth tiger, the troglodyte, who I really feel for in the end because he sacrifices his life to save these friends that he met about 15 minutes before he died.
Right.
So
Waggy Film says Golden Voyage of Sinbad. And
Golden Voyage of Sinbad's fantastic.
Sean Urshan says Jason and the Argonauts.
Jason and the Argonauts is fantastic. Don't have Sinbad in it, but it's fantastic.
Right. Yeah.
Golden Voyage of Sinbad is really, really good too.
Yeah.
And it's got Carolyn Monroe in it, which you can't go wrong with either.
Look at this. Yeah, we love our chicks.
That's
from
part
the,
of what makes it cool. Because it left something to the imagination.
Right.
That was back when a face could do it for you.
Exactly.
You didn't need to stampede towards the clitoris.
Oh Lord. No. Hey. Yeah. I hear you. So okay. Question number 12. I'm going to need my glasses for this one. Despite the evolution of CGI, the influence of Ray Harryhausen will forever thrive in cinema. Stop motion continues with studios such as Leica and Aardman Animations and directors such as Wes Anderson and Tim Burton. Which modern stop motion film do you enjoy and which do you think Harryhausen in particular would appreciate? Okay?
What do you think?
I'm going to put I'm saying Tim Burton. Okay? I mean, what did I write down?
He doesn't do stop motion.
I mean, you got Nightmare.
He's not a stop motion artist.
What?
He's not a stop motion artist. I'm just kidding.
Are you going to hate on Tim Burton, my pick? Anyways, I mean, come on. Nightmare Before Christmas, Frank
He looks like he doesn't have a hairbrush and a mirror.
James and the Giant Peach. What's that got to do with them doing stop motion? It's because
Vincent, the best one he ever did.
It's because that was
with
a good
Vincent
one.
Price narrating.
The short, No, come on, man.
Oh, no, I'm not knocking on those. I love those movies.
Well, I mean, I love them. I really, really love Tim Burton's stop motion films like Nightmare Before Christmas, James and the Giant Peach, all of those, and I think Tim Burton took it to that kind of animated gothic, level kind of thing.
I think you should do an Addams Family movie that way.
Oh hell! Oh my God, Ted!
And make them look like they did in the original comic strips.
Yes.
Now, instead of making stupid ass Alice in Wonderland and Dumbo, why don't you make an Addams Family movie in stop motion the way it was in the comic strip?
Again, Tim Burton was given the ability.
They give him $1 jillion to make Dumbo.
The
cartoon was fine and it's only an hour long.
Plus to make regular films that he doesn't have to spend. Although if he loved it like Ray Harryhausen did, he would have stuck with stop motion and continued to do it.
Well, he's not a stop motion
and
artist.
I'm not saying
he's just a director.
I'm not saying right.
Like even Nightmare Before Christmas, he gets all the credits, but Henry Selick directed that movie.
Right.
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton had a lot to do with the style and the stop and.
Oh yeah, he wrote the book. Those were his designs.
Right.
But Henry Selick is the one who directed it.
Okay, go ahead, Ted.
All right. Well, I love Aardman Animation.
Okay.
Wallace and Gromit and all that.
Oh, hell yeah.
And you got to remember, Ray Harryhausen only left us a few years ago in 2013.
I could easily have picked him, but go ahead. Yeah.
He died in 2013.
Yeah.
So he easily got to see some of these movies. He would have seen those Tim Burton movies you mentioned. I love...
Agree, Cody.
All of Leica Studios films.
Yeah.
Box Trolls, Coraline.
Oh, yeah. Coraline, one of my favorites.
I think out of all of them they've done, Coraline and Kubo and the Two Strings are the best.
Okay.
They're absolutely exquisite.
Can't argue with that.
Both of them are exquisite, tell great stories that you hadn't seen on the screen before.
If you haven't seen Coraline, give it a watch,
or
man.
even Kubo and the Two Strings. It's on Netflix. So's Coraline.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful. I took my kids to see it. Nobody was in the theater. I mean, you get this Japanese culture to it, and I thought it was fantastic. And I think he would appreciate that, the art form is still going on.
Right.
But I'm not going to discount CGI altogether, because a lot of those CGI artists, say like the ones that work for Pixar,
yeah,
it is like stop motion, but they do it in a computer. and it's a little bit at a time, little bit at a time, little bit at a time.
Right, they do it a little bit different.
It's different. Yeah. It's a wire model, but it's in a computer.
Yeah.
So I don't want to discount it altogether, because there are some, like, and I'll use like the Toy Story movies or Monsters Inc. Right. Monsters Inc. If you remember the restaurant that Mike Wazowski takes his girlfriend to, the name of the sushi restaurant is Harryhausen's.
Yeah, the Harryhausen's. So, so, hey, if there's an easier way of doing it, it's technology. It's just a different way. And some of those Pixar movies, you swear to God, it's almost real. Oh, yeah. And I don't give that kind of credit to all computer animated films. Right.
But some of the Pixar ones, Monsters Inc. is one of them that has always stuck out to me.
Yeah.
Where the hair, it looks so real and things like that.
No, I agree.
So there's love for that type of animation, even in that realm as well. Right. And I think he'd be just as pleased with that as well.
Okay. Yeah. No. Good answer, man. It's like, how can you argue again? With all of these. Dark Horse Dumpling says Kubo and the Two Strings.
Oh, absolutely.
Would be pretty awesome. And Cody Ray says, I hate CGI. The technology ruined the art of movies. Agree with you, Cody.
When it's used in the right way.
Yeah, and if you do, yeah. I mean,
and the one that I always go back to is like the Lord of the Rings films in some ways. Some things aren't as good as they used to be.
And some dude and his dog showed up in the chat. Nice to see you in the chat there. First time I ever see you. He says, so many horror movies. Where'd you start? And when you did, you realized you left out a few. Mm-hmm. Okay, agree. There's tons. Okay, so let's go to question number 13, right?
13.
Yeah. Okay, so let me put these on.
Lucky 13. I like this question.
With the wide variety of awe-inspiring creators or creatures created by Harryhausen, which two would enjoy to see face off against each other in a film?
There's always got to be a versus. Who would win in a fight?
Who would win in a fight?
Who would win in a fight? And I'm glad he did that, because there's always one of these questions. People are all in these horror channels, always at who would win in a fight.
I mean, it used to take a full day to take a picture. Hell, yeah. Hey, my picture's done yet at the time. But anyway,
I was watching it with my son. A Harold Lloyd silent movie.
Yeah.
Harold Lloyd was a very famous silent comedian back in the day.
We'll get back to the question in a second.
And he was taking a picture for his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And the chair that he was sitting in actually had a headrest, because you had to hold the position.
Yeah.
And you could it would hold your head.
Yes.
Because it took so long. And then the gag in that part is a mouse climbs up his pants and, hijinks ensue. But you're not wrong, dude.
Yeah. Okay, so my choice is going to be the Cyclops from The Voyage of Sinbad and the Emer from 20 Million Miles to Earth.
Cyclops won because he's like 200 feet taller than that. You'd squash him like bug.
When he was his size. How about that? Because he does grow over the length of the movie.
You'd like to see those two duke it out.
When they're at the same level. Yeah, I'd like to see them duke it out. So.
When I was thinking about the answer to this question, I actually tried to think of two creatures that were kind of maybe the same size.
Okay.
And I thought of the Emer.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, yeah, he was kind of big, but not gigantic big. I mean, he's about as tall as an elephant, maybe.
But again, he grew over time. So
and I was like, how about him and Mighty Joe Young fighting?
No.
Because, I mean, you piss off Mighty Joe.
Yeah.
He was fucking shit up. So
I
thought, okay, see him,
Mighty Joe Young, yeah.
And plus, they're both bipedal, standing on 2 feet,
right?
And they could both duke. So
Waggy Film says Emer and the Cyclops. Yeah. Okay.
So obviously, you and I both just want to see the Emer kick somebody's ass.
He's one of the coolest characters. I mean,
and it's not even one of my favorite movies of his.
Right.
I mean, I love it. Yeah. I own it. I've always owned it. But
you own it.
I do.
Yeah.
I used to have these weird... They would put a lot of Harryhausen movies out in these 3-tape box sets. There was like the sci-fi collection.
Yeah.
And it had Earth versus the Flying Saucers.
Right.
20 Million Miles to Earth. And there was something else in there. I can't remember what. Maybe it came from beneath the sea or something. The giant octopus that didn't even have 8 tentacles. I think it had 6. Yeah. There was a Sinbad one. There was a... Mysterious Worlds
to save a couple bucks is why they did that on the octopus, which is strange.
And there was a Mysterious Worlds one. It had like
go for it, make it.
It had Gulliver, Mysterious Island. I think it had Jason and the Argonauts in there too. cool little box sets used to be, and they were neat boxes. I wish I still had them because the boxes were kind of cool.
Okay, well, Felix says, got a pack for my trip to California tomorrow. Yes, I wait until the last minute. Here to say goodbye, but...
have a safe trip, man.
Have a safe trip, Felix. Thanks for stopping by and enjoy your trip.
Because we're nothing but clouds here, dude.
Yeah, you don't want to be in Cleveland. That's right. But have a nice safe trip there, bud. So that's a good segue into question number 14. It's not a segue, but it's transitioning, right?
Yes.
Question number 14. A famous quote by Harryhausen is, "If you make things too real, sometimes you bring it down to the mundane." Do you agree with his quote, and what are your thoughts on it? Yes, I agree with it 100%.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to make something, especially if you're molding it and crafting it and want it to have character. Not to say that people don't have character, but
some people do.
Exactly. There is
something.
Are
characters.
Well, in the movies, there's something mundane about people. So when you have the chance to sculpt and mold a creature, yes, you don't want it to be mundane. You want to give it character and something totally different. You know, whether it's the sympathetic card, which he usually does, or even if whatever it is. But yeah, exactly. I agree 100%.
Now, I typed out a pretty cool answer, so I'm going to read it.
Okay, read it.
I said
Go
that
forward.
I absolutely
Go
agree
forward.
That the types of films that Ray worked on, like the fantasy, adventure, sci-fi movies, they're supposed to be magical and take you to another place, stimulate your imagination. That's what his movies did. That's what it did for me.
Yep.
So apart from his stop motion being very exquisite, their appearance in the films gave them an otherworldly appearance, which lent, to the fantasy aspect of it. You felt like, you're seeing something that you've never seen before, but because they were molded and actual models, they had texture and depth.
Yep.
And so there was some grounding in reality. It was something that was real.
Yeah.
CGI, sometimes, not in every case, but it strives for more photorealism. And I go back, you remember when we all...
Who's Johnny? She said...
when we all went to go see, Jurassic Park when it first came out. You saw those dinosaurs for the first time.
Yeah.
You're like, holy
shit, this is really cool. Yeah.
That is cool. And the first Jurassic Park film was a mixture of models and stop motion. I mean, not stop motion, computer graphics.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that was awe-inspiring. Like, oh my God.
No,
I've never seen a movie like this before.
Right.
You have to wait an hour to see anything cool.
Yeah, true.
But when they're there, it's freaking awesome.
Right. When that T-Rex shows up and that Jeep. Yeah.
And that's how, Ray's movies make me feel still when I watch. I'm just like, man, that's awesome. I love that.
Oh, yeah, man.
And, now I think it's just a tool now. It's overdone. It's cheaper. It's cheaper to just do it in a computer than to ship everybody to a location and film in a desert. Hey, we can just make a CGI desert or whatever. And I get it. But as real as you try to make it look, it doesn't quite look real. And, or when you watch a movie like Lawrence of Arabia and those vast desert landscapes, and you're like, my God, there's 1,000 people in this shot. This is amazing. And it was a big deal. And now you see it, and it's computer animated, and those are all just little figments in a computer, and it does become mundane. It becomes boring.
Yes.
And maybe that's why I don't really care for a lot of new films. They're just boring. It was...
No,
I'd rather watch
Good
Lawrence of Arabia or Good, the Bad, and the Ugly when they're fighting on that bridge. And or, hell, even Buster Keaton in The General when he actually blows the goddamn bridge up and the real train goes into the river.
Right.
Yeah. They don't do that anymore.
Nope.
So... Nope. That's why older movies are better, dudes.
Well, because it's got an aspect of realness to it, and no.
Remember in what was the Bond movie? Was it Live and Let Die?
Yeah.
Whatever. When Bond's car is going over the bridge, that crappy bridge, and the car actually flips over and lands. Right. They would do that all CGI now.
Oh, I know, of course.
They did that shit for real. They had to plan it out.
For real, though.
And that's what I'm talking about. Just now, movies are mundane. They're dull. And when something cool comes around,
it's different. It's different.
Like when Fury Road came out. I know there's some CGI in it, but there's a lot of real 100% stunt work, bodies hitting the ground in that movie.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I dug the hell out of that movie. Because a lot of that shit was real.
Yo, Bo, I agree.
So, there hasn't been a movie I've liked that much for almost 4 years.
Hey, no, I agree. Okay, so final question of the night. Question number 15. Thanks again, Jonathan. If Ray Harryhausen asked you to create a monster for him, describe what your monster would look like. Extra points for drawing or sculpting. I'm not sure anybody's even going to do the tag.
Yeah,
but
I could have sketched, I didn't have time to sculpt, dude. But that was great. If someone else can do it, I'd love to see what they do.
Yeah, draw, or if you got some artwork, if you end up doing the tag, I mean that would be very cool to do. But you take this one first. Ted.
All right. My dream project that either I or someone like Ray could have worked on if I had Ray's talent.
Yeah.
I know they made a John Carter movie.
Yeah.
It stunk. I mean, I shouldn't say it didn't stink, but they put too much in there. It was a very simple story, and they put too much in there to bog it down with stuff from other books that the average person isn't going to dig it, and that's why it didn't do that well, I don't think.
Right.
But to do a simple, by-the-numbers Princess of Mars adaptation, the Tharks, Woola, the great white apes, to do those kinds of effects in stop motion and have a really cool actor like a Doug McClure or even any actor that could carry that kind of a role.
Right.
He's just always the one I pick because I love those movies in the 70s.
Gotcha.
But I would love to be in charge of when I was a kid, tween, I guess you call them now, tween. Yeah. Those are like my Harry Potter books.
Oh yeah.
All 11 John Carter paperback novels sitting on the shelf. Read them, reread them, read them. I still have them in my. The first three are my favorites.
Interesting because that can transition over to my answer.
All right, what's yours?
Pretty simple. Well, I'll throw two names out there, which I'm not sure if anybody's going to name, but ancient vampires Akasha and Enkil. Okay, these are two vampires from Lestat's Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles. Mm-hmm. They're the original vampires who were. You got to read the stories to find out. But, possessed, created, and over time they become these stone, because without blood you become these stone figures, okay? And just because of my love, which is Anne Rice, the Vampire Chronicles are way up here on my list of characters, novels, stories that I love, and to get something like that, a stop motion or a creature, Akasha and Enkil, as they've been sitting there for thousands of years and they're stoned, and to bring life to them, similar to the Talos, the metal, giant. I would love to have seen something similar to that. Again, you're listening and going, I have no idea what you're talking about. But again, ancient vampires. No blood, stone. What he could have done with those would have been really cool. Again, you might have to put that back into a kind of a period piece because stop motion is kind of transition and it's very different. But if you put his stylized stop motion to it, I think that would have been kick-ass.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, that's what I would think. Sean Urshan says Clash of the Titans. Sounds like a good idea to me, Dino. So... That's my answer, man. Yeah.
Those are fantastic questions.
Yeah, those are the 15 questions. Again, thank you, Jonathan.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
I was honored to do these.
Very.
As soon as I read them, I texted Dina. I was like, "These are great questions."
Heck yeah,
man. I usually, if I come up with an idea for a tag video, I write all the questions, and I wouldn't have come up with some of those. So
yeah. And Sean is in, and I always throw it out there because I know you do a lot of tag video, Sean, and I think you're old school. I'm not sure how you feel about the Ray Harryhausen stuff or how schooled you are in his movies and stuff like that. But if you'd like to do this, I'll tag you. So go for it.
It's my bread and butter.
I think these are some awesome questions.
Like all my movies are in alphabetical order, but I have like the Ray.
I don't know.
I have the Harryhausen section.
Yeah, I don't know too many people who love the old school horror. I mean, technically I do. I could do. But Ray Harryhausen is just like a totally different genre. Like in our horror community here,
I would count him more as like fantasy creature feature.
True. You know, yes.
Which goes along with what we're about. I mean, back when we were the Little Monsters movie podcast. I mean, that's what monster movies. That's what we love, monster movies.
Hell yeah, man.
And maybe some people don't consider those horror films, but I just kind of lump it all together. Monster movies, horror movies. You know, I put Suspiria and King Kong in the same category, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. If you're talking horror, but yeah. So there you go. There's the tag video, Ray Harryhausen tag. Again,
we miss you, Ray.
We do them. We do, yeah.
Ray, that would be
and Ray Bradbury
for them to tour his. I think he kept everything. It's like in a garage or whatever, you know.
Oh, there was a story of the dragon. Ray Bradbury or somebody, I forget who, went to his actual garage where he did a lot of his stuff, and he must have kept a lot of his stuff at his garage. And he looked up and he saw a skull up there, like just poking out of the rafters, kind of thing. And he said it was part of that dragon that he was in the seven voyages of
Seventh Voyage, probably.
Yeah,
Seventh Voyage I think had the dragon.
But he's like, oh my god, just wasting away there. But a lot of the things like the Pegasus and stuff like that made it to museums here and there.
I'd love for them
places,
to restore his work, and because his family's very tight with a lot of stuff of his.
Yeah.
Before he died, he recorded full-length commentaries for all his films. And they have not, any of the companies that have put out Blu-rays have not been able to license. Most have not been able to license those commentaries. No. I'd love a commentary for First Man on the Moon or Clash of the Titans. Or
heck yeah, from Ray Harryhausen.
And how he did things. And
thank you, Dave Plouffe. Says, thank you, Dino and Ted. Always a great time watching you guys. I appreciate it. For sure, man.
But they should tour his stuff, various museums and things like that.
Yeah, I know.
Let people,
and the whole commentary.
Reinvigorate, bring your kids and we'll want to see those movies.
Hey, again, there's a lot of new stuff that is undersold or never seen. You know, they make it to film festivals and stuff like that. That people are still doing actual stop motion technique, stylized film. It doesn't get out there because everything's changed. The era's changed. The time's changed. But yeah, there you go. Love stop motion. Me and Ted.
Me too.
Right here, man.
I'm eagerly waiting for the next Leica Studios movie. Yeah. And I'd love for there to be another Wallace and Gromit movie, man. Yeah. Bring Wallace and Gromit back. Yeah. Which is more claymation, but I love Wallace. But even for the occasion, I wore my Gumby shirt. So
there you go. So we won't draw it out anymore. We are done with the questions. Loved it again, Jonathan, and stay tuned next week. Next Tuesday, we will be live. Always live on Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Check us out and check out all our pages and everything like that too. We got a Patreon up there. Go do that. But with that said, we're going to end this.
New pair of shoes.
Yeah, we're going to end this now. Later, guys. Peace out.